Hello, everybody, and welcome to Everything But the Cats, the podcast where we talk about everything. We might talk about magnesium. You never know. We could be talking about collagen. It's up to honestly whatever we're feeling on a given day. Could even be um cryptids, but we'll get to that later. My name's Gage,
I'm DJ.
and today we are joined by
I'm DJ.
And Deante and I work together at the gym. For those of you who don't know, you've been following along. I started working at a gym not too long ago, but we work in separate areas. I am technically, I guess, front desk is what it's called. I work at the front. Deante is a trainer. And how long have you been a trainer?
Officially for about almost 2 years now.
2 years now? Okay. You started with us back in January?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so we're in different areas technically, but I always make a point to bug him in the morning. It's a good time. It's a good time.
Always.
But just to kind of give everybody a taste of just a bit of who you are and kind of what we're going to be talking about today, felt like we could start with some icebreaker questions, which are great at breaking ice, I guess. So for starters, if you could have, this is a simple one. If you could have any superpower, just any of them, what would you pick and why?
I would pick the ability to teleport.
Okay.
And I would pick that one so I won't have to pay for any more flight tickets.
That's so valid. We'll probably get into why that matters before too long. Are you from Mississippi originally? I haven't asked you that yet. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I am.
So this area, the area we're in, or somewhere else? You don't have to give the town name, but region, I guess, if you want.
Yeah, kind of like near the area that we're in.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
Yes.
I'm trying to think. What's another good one?
All right. So any person, living or dead, for you to put on a workout plan, who do you choose? What's the plan?
Any person living or dead for me to put
Yeah.
on a workout plan.
We assume that the dead ones come back to life.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would put Dr. Martin Luther King on a bulking plan, and I'd probably I'd make him look more so like a bodybuilder, like more so like Aaron Donald or something.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Good answer.
That's a good question. What is your favorite? Okay, what is your favorite workout or your favorite exercise that you routinely do?
I would say my favorite one that I routinely do, bent over barbell rows, and that's my favorite because it's actually one of the hardest to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because you when you bend over, you gotta. It works so many muscle groups. It's a compound lift, so it's it's hard enough to be my favorite, but I've been doing it long enough to where I'm comfortable enough to call it my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of where I'm at with it.
I've had to do those, and they're not my favorite at this point. I'm a big fan of anything forearms, anything forearm related.
Working on that grip strength.
Yeah, I gotta because it's the worst part right now. And then one more just off the wall. If you could get famous for one thing, just one thing right now, if you just knew that tomorrow you would be in the headlines for this, what would you want it to be?
It was tomorrow. I would say a workout vlogger.
Okay. Okay. Is that an aspiration you've got right now? Are you working on that?
Yeah, I am. I'm actually I've been had a YouTube channel,
Mm-hmm.
but now I'm starting to kind of post more shorts. I'm starting to post more shorts on my Instagram and things of that nature. 'Cause I built up like a decent following, like not much, but I got like 4K followers on Instagram. But they're all like for me traveling, playing football. So I'm just kind of trying to tie that into like workout vlogs. Use that.
I love a decent following, 5 times as many as you guys have. Like, wait, more than that.
Way more than that.
Almost 50 times. Um, no, that's really cool. That's really cool. We'll leave links and stuff in the description so that people can follow you. Now, you mentioned football, and this is something that you've briefly talked to me about at work, but we haven't had like a ton of like in-depth conversations about it. But you played football and got to travel all over the place. So, where did you play? I haven't asked that yet.
I played college in Kentucky. Uh, I left college. I went to play indoor arena football in Kansas. Um, I played in Detroit for a little bit. Uh, and then I went back to Kansas, with another indoor arena team. And then shortly after that, I went to Petrolina, Brazil. And then I came back home and started coaching at Kahoma Community College. And now we're at the gym, up for.
So what's I'm just kind of uninitiated in the world of football. What's indoor arena football like?
It's so it's a shorter field. It's like half of the field. It's 50. It's essentially a 50-yard field um with like walls around it. So it's surrounded by this hard wall with the pad over it. So if you hit it, it's still gonna hurt pretty bad. Um, they can do high motion. So that means two players can like run up to the line before the quarterback snaps it. So it's essentially like a very fast paced football on a shorter, smaller field.
That's so cool. What team in Kansas? Because we're from Kansas.
Okay, so I had a short stint with the Wichita Force and the Salina Liberty.
I'm so bad at geography. Where's DJ? Do you know where Salina is? I know where
Is
Wichita
Salina?
is.
It's pretty close to Wichita, right?
It is
Salina?
actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and through.
Okay. That's pretty cool. So what, like, just in your time doing that, what were some of your favorite experiences?
Um, my favorite experiences would have to be going to Brazil for sure. But the favorite thing about that is how the kids were drawn to me. I'm a big believer in God, and so I didn't really understand like why the kids were drawn to me because I was like y'all don't understand me and I don't understand anything y'all are saying. But the kids just kept like requesting me to come back to their schools like over and over and over. I'm just like God, like I don't know what you're trying to tell me, but like like I mean this is amazing. Like for my birthday, they had me a birthday party and then they sung like happy birthday to me. Like I still got like plenty of like letters that they wrote me and things of that nature. So I said like they kind of like aside from football, that's also why I love football. Cause like football brought me to like experiences like that one, where I could connect with kids all over the world. But yeah, aside from football, that's my favorite part. Like getting out into the community and being able to connect with kids.
Hmm. Did you end up picking up any Portuguese while you were there?
Uh, I did. It's 6:19. So if I seen you in Petrolina around this time, I'd be like, oi, boa tarde, tudo bem?
Okay. What's that mean?
I'd be like, hey, good evening. Like, are you good? Are you okay? How you doing?
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah.
How long were you there?
I was there 6, almost 7 months.
Okay. What was Brazil like? Like other than like I know what we see in the movies and stuff. You've
Yeah.
got like the Fast and Furious movies are the main thing I can think of right now where it's mostly just in Rio de Janeiro and you've got like all the stuff going on there. But Like, what was it like?
So the city I was in, luckily, it was pretty chill. So like I said, the food, it's hard to find like processed food out there. If it is processed, it'll say industrialized, in parentheses on the menu. So that is, so that was kind of fun. You know how we have acai
Mm-hmm.
here? It is way better in Brazil. So I found out that that fruit is originated in Brazil, so that's probably why, and it's probably why it's way cheaper there too. What else? Also, after a busy night, like on like the main street, everybody driving off of Main Street has to take a breathalyzer. So they set up roadblocks to give like breathalyzers to everybody. A lot more people walk. A lot more people ride motorcycles. Um, Everybody takes card out there. I used to walk down the street to the mango, to the fruit stand. I would get coconuts. It was R$3, and the guy would be like "Cartao." I'd be like "See," and I would just tap my card. So yeah, it was I said the city I was in, they weren't typically used to foreigners, so it was a lot of staring and things of that nature. But besides that, nobody really bothered me out there. I said since I was a foreigner, since I was a football player, they used to kind of bug me a little bit. Like when I was out in the city. But I said I didn't mind it because, like I said, like I'm a regular person back home, so I didn't mind like being somewhat of a celebrity out there.
That's fair.
So yeah, and also too, like since we met at the gym, their gyms are the rules are a little. They're like a little more strict over there with the rules. Um, I mean, of course, like some gyms are here too, but they enforce it way harder. Well, maybe they enforce the rules on us way harder because we were Americans, they say. But like, there was this one rule that we kind of went back and forth about. So they don't let you squat without shoes.
Mm.
So you have to wear shoes, and we were like, it's safe. We do it in North America all the time, and I guess I was kind of I used to tell them we're still in America. This is just South America, so I do it in North America all the time. So
Yeah, I don't like squatting with shoes on. Like, I don't.
exactly.
It's worse for my balance.
Exactly.
So this isn't really a question, but I think it's kind of funny. Ole Miss, do you keep up with their basketball team at all?
Um, Not really.
So Ole Miss this season has a freshman who's actually from Sao Paulo, Brazil. Uh, and we went and my family went and saw a game, the conference opener against Georgia. We went and watched that game, and he was just in warm up. He was just shooting threes and making them back to back to back to back to back, and he gets like maybe 5 minutes a game, and I was just like, wow. Uh, he looked great in the warm up. He actually looked a lot like one of DJ and I's friends from high school. He looked almost exactly like Weston. I he just did.
Wild.
But yeah, he was I just thought that was kind of funny. Like, we
Yeah.
here pretty close, we got someone from Brazil on our basketball team. And that was the weirdest thing for me, to see Sao Paulo, Brazil uh on Ole Miss's basketball team.
Yeah,
Um,
that is crazy. I got scammed in Sao Paulo actually. So Sao Paulo. If I could compare it to a city in the U.S., yeah, it's like a New York or something.
okay. Okay.
So yeah, I got scammed there.
What was that like?
So I'm leaving the airport. So my taxi driver, that's who scammed me actually. So my taxi driver, so we're going to my hotel. He's supposed to drop me off at my hotel. We stop at McDonald's. This is actually my first night ever in Brazil. Like
Hmm.
this is before I knew. So my phone had no service at all. Um, and I didn't know any Portuguese at this point. So, so we ride past the McDonald's. I'm like, ooh, Wi-Fi. But I didn't know. If I would have known, I would have been like, dang, Wi-Fi? Like, see. But I didn't know, so I'm like, okay, Wi-Fi. And I'm like pointing like, there. Like, there. Like, I don't even really know how to talk to him. So we get to McDonald's. The Wi-Fi connects on my phone. Now I'm texting my team. So I have to take another flight tomorrow out of Sao Paulo. So to make a long story short, I buy him McDonald's. We get to the hotel. He drops me off. I give him a 65 Hey voucher, for my ride from the airport. And he charges me 135 Hey more. And so I get on my phone. I get to typing like I'm typing to him like, bro, like this doesn't seem right. And he's typing back to me trying to explain like why it's right or whatever. And so essentially we're going back and forth. I'm just like, you know what, you got it. But essentially he charged me $85, in our currency on top of what I had gave him from the airport.
Wow. Yeah, so I have never been out of the country. DJ, you've been into Mexico, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that the closest you've gotten to South? No, you went to Honduras.
I went to Honduras once, yeah. It's still central,
Mm-hmm.
but it's farther south.
Geography is so bad for me.
That's all right. Yeah, I mean it's above like the bump. I don't know. It's in the middle.
Yeah.
No, I mean I feel like most everywhere that I've been, like obviously Mexico, we didn't need to fly in anywhere. I guess not obviously. Every time I've been, it's been like on the border, so it didn't need to fly in. But I feel like most places I go, it's like don't let like you get off the plane at the airport. Don't make eye contact with anyone. Don't breathe near anyone. Someone's close to you, hold your breath, close your eyes, and just keep walking because they are going to scam you. So it's a dangerous game out there.
It is. It is. I wish you would have told me that before I went.
No, that's all right. It's all right. We all. I was in New York once. You compared it to New York. Great comparison. I was in Times Square, and those. Have you been to New York?
I have. Actually.
Okay, those guys with the CDs got me. So this guy comes up, drops the CD, and I hand it back to him or whatever. He's like, "Hey man, you should buy the CD from me." Blah blah blah. And I've got some extra spending money, so I'm like, sure, why not? Give him like $10, and then immediately it's like there's a whole group of them all around me, like trying to get me to buy their CDs. And I bought one more before someone like in the group I was with came and like rescued me from the group, just get out of here. So yeah, we all get got for sure.
What was that experience like, by the way? Like, how did you end up going to Brazil? Like, how did that all happen?
So it was kind of a series of unfortunate events that led me to Brazil actually. So I had just kind of finished up grad school. I had finished getting my master's. I just kind of got my degree. So I'm trying to figure out what's next. And then my agent kind of connected me to indoor arena football. So I go play indoor arena football. I played one game, and unfortunately, I was cut. And so I'm like, wow. So next thing you know, like I'm home for a month. I'm kind of, kind of down. I'm not gonna lie, because everybody's asking me like, why are you back home so soon? Like, shouldn't you still be playing? So yeah, so I'm kind of down about it. The next thing you know, like, I'm not gonna lie, like I was working, I was working a 14-hour shift at this event center.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just praying. I'm just like God, like I don't think I can take another 14-hour shift. Like, just like rescue me. So so this guy walks through the door because I was reading this book called Think and Grow Rich, and this guy walks through the door. He was with Tamla Mann, the gospel singer. He was with her and her crew, and he was like, man, I don't know what you're going through, man, but just have faith that's gonna get better. He was like, man, and he was like, man, I can tell you're trying because I can see the book you're reading. And I was just like, thank you, thank you. And next thing you know, that night, 10 o'clock that night, I still remember it. The Kahunkas, the team I was playing for, they text me and they were like, "Hey man, like we want to set up a Zoom call. And we want to try to fly you out in 2 weeks." So I'm like 2 weeks, crazy, but I'm like, okay, God, like I didn't expect you to work this fast, but
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, like I'll hop on the Zoom, and it happened.
That's awesome.
So,
That's crazy.
it is.
I found, and this is on and off topic, but I found like in my own experience, a lot of the times when God puts something on my heart and I stop being stubborn about it,
Mm.
he normally leads me into it somewhat quickly.
Mm.
But and I mean your story is very different because you weren't really being stubborn about it or anything, but like that's kind of what I found like just recently, and I've talked about this on a previous episode, but just recently like God put it on my heart to get more plugged in at church and to be more involved in certain ways there. And I wasn't necessarily being stubborn about it, but I was just kind of like, well, it'll happen when it happens. Um, and then immediately a guy who goes to the gym invited me to go to his small group, and someone else who goes to the gym invited me to their Sunday school class. And so just a couple of just those cool things happening back to back as God has put some on my heart. I think it's cool how he works that way, you know.
Have you been to those groups yet, Gage?
Yes. Yes.
Good.
Last Wednesday I went to the first one, and then on Sunday morning I did go. So
Sweet.
that was good. So one of the other questions I've had, you've been able to travel out of the country to other places in the country. Now, when you were, I guess this is a two-parter. When you were in Brazil, were you only playing against other Brazilian teams, or did you like play in other countries in South America?
So we only traveled across the northeast Brazil because that's the division that we were in. Each team was only allowed to have two Americans, and the rest of the teams were Brazilian.
Okay. There are a lot of sports. I know we've talked a little bit about soccer at work, but there's some sports where they have like you have to have 7 or 8 players that are homegrown or that are from the country that the team plays for. Um, so like in England, I think they have to have a set number of English players on their roster in order to be counted as like a valid team, so to speak. Um, but other than that, they can have whoever they want from wherever they want. Did they, to your knowledge, did they have like other foreigners who were on the teams? I know you mentioned 2 Americans, but did they have people from other countries there too?
So the teams that had more money,
Mm-hmm.
they could kind of pay to have more foreigners. I know one team, they had a guy from France, and he was he was in my league, and I want to say Italy as well.
It's hard for
Yeah.
me to imagine French and Italian people playing football. Like I can imagine Brazilian people playing. That doesn't like that I can see. But French and Italian doesn't sound right for American
It's,
football.
it's crazy. Yeah, I would have never known it. I wouldn't have went there.
That's so cool though. So that was also arena football.
No, it was no. So this was regular football.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir. 100-yard field, 53-yard wide. It's kind of Yes, but this was what I was used to.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Sorry.
Um, and then, just in your time in the States, you've been able to travel all over the United States. What have been, what are some of your favorite cities? Like your favorite places to go here?
So I would say I'm more of a like chill person. So like New York, I feel like New York was way too much for me. So I would say one of my favorite cities that I've been to. I went to Durham, North Carolina. That was pretty. That was a pretty cool, chill place. And one of my favorite places, which is pretty close. I've been there a couple times, but Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay. I lived
Yes.
there for about a year, and chill is not how I would describe Nashville. Like, uh, but I can see, like, compared to some of the other cities I've been to, I guess it is more on the chill side. Because like I spent a summer in Chicago, and that was nuts.
Yeah,
But it was I did like Nashville quite a bit. It was just way
yeah.
more fast paced than Hernando.
Oh, for sure.
What position did you play, by the way? We've been talking a long time. What did you play?
Um, running back.
Okay. I wouldn't have assumed lineman necessarily,
Mm-hmm.
but I
Yeah,
mean
a lot
like
of
you're
people.
bigger than me muscle wise. That's not hard to do though. You're a lot
A lot
bigger
of
than
people ask me, do I play linebacker
me.
for some reason? So yeah.
So I did play in middle school. Quick guess. What position do you think I played?
I had to take a guess. Uh, let me think. Either either tight end or wide receiver.
So I played a position where they, in middle school at least, put people who didn't know what they were doing. I played
Hmm.
nose guard.
Nose guard.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. You were down there in the trenches. Okay.
Yeah. DJ, you played that year too, right?
I started to play that year, but I really wanted to play like a position that gets the ball and has fun. And so I go over to like the wide receiver practice area, and Coach Dell is like, I think you meant to go over there, and like points at the line. And then I went over and did that practice, and then I was done after that day. Uh,
That's crazy.
so because I was there for a purpose, and their needs and my needs did not line up. Dang it.
Hey man.
Same. I wanted so badly to be a quarterback, uh, or a kicker. Pretty much
Oh,
something
kicking's
where
fun. Yeah.
kicking's so much fun. And after playing soccer all through high school, I would have been great at it.
No.
You would have been great at middle school football as
Yeah.
a high school graduate.
At kicking.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
Actually, there was a kid. So we're just an hour south of Kansas City, and one of the big schools up in Kansas City for most sports is called Blue Valley, and there's like 5 Blue Valleys, or three, 4 or 5.
Who knows? Something like that.
But the Blue Valley schools, they're crazy good at everything because they're like
Paul Rudd
huge
went to one of
schools.
them.
He did.
Yeah.
Matt Beasler went to one of them.
Huh.
U.S. national team center back who's been retired for a few years now. But there were some kids on their soccer team who ended up transferring to Fort Scott after we graduated. And one of them joined the football team, and he was a kicker, and I'm pretty sure he broke like the high school record for the longest field goal. And then I think he
Wild.
broke it again the same season.
Man. Poor kids
Right?
moving to Fort Scott. Like, so much potential just gone.
We have to do an episode on Fort Scott someday.
That'd be fun.
It could
Yeah.
be. Okay, yeah. Now, you mentioned that you would like the ability to teleport so that you could save money on plane tickets. Is traveling still something you do a lot of, or just something you want to do a lot of at this point?
I would say I kind of still do. Like my friends, they live in New Orleans, Louisiana.
Hmm.
Well, near New Orleans, Louisiana. So I love to go to Louisiana. But the main reason I still travel now is because like I don't really have a lot of friends here. I have some, not many. Most of my friends they live out of town, so I kind of go visit them.
Yeah. So I've never been to New Orleans. What's it like? Like, just briefly.
Well, when you say you've never been to Brazil, so I'm gonna say, Carnival in Brazil. It's kind of like New Orleans. But it's like, I guess I could say a city that never sleeps.
Hmm.
It's pretty. It's not as like Bourbon Street, the street everybody wants to go. It's not as clean as it. It's hard to describe. You just gotta spend the night out there. There's like it's a whole lot going on. Like when I went, the last time I went, um, let me just describe my walk. I'm walking down Bourbon Street. Um, I'm seeing people, flash themselves and throwing beads. I'm like, okay, so that's a real thing. It's a bunch of bars. So I keep walking, and then there's these people in the middle of the street screaming like, "You need to believe in Jesus. He's coming back soon." So I'm like, okay. Um, I keep walking down some more, and I guess that was the part to where it was getting kind of. I don't really like to generalize certain people, but it was men. It's a lot of men clubs, and men flashing their butts for beads were on this end. So I was like, so my friend was like, yeah, it's time we turn back around. So we had to go back through everything we had been through.
I just love the dichotomy, like the difference. You've got your people flashing for beads, and then your people screaming, "You need Jesus," which I mean, we all do. Uh, yeah. Now, I haven't asked you this, and I'm kind of upset. Not upset, but like surprised I haven't asked you this. What is your master's in?
um, Business entrepreneurship.
Okay. Okay. So I assume that like being a trainer isn't the end goal.
No, sir. I wanna one day I wanna kind of tie in my social work bachelor's and my business entrepreneurship master's. I wanna tie all of that in together one day. But I also want to tie it in with training. So I want to build like this huge community center. So if I ever get the funds one day, that's what I want to do. I want to do it in this area because I feel like this area needs it.
Mm-hmm.
But I want it to be like a compound exposure type thing. Like kids down here, like they don't know that like one day I was on ESPN, I seen them playing freeze tag, like on ESPN. So like I want to kind of expose the kids down here to like more stuff like that because like we might have a freeze tag player here, but they don't know that like they could be on ESPN playing freeze tag.
Mm-hmm.
So more sports and things like hockey, kind of neutral down here. Like I want to
Mm-hmm.
kind of boost that sport down here. So there are some kids who maybe they maybe want to be like scientists or anything like that. Like I want to just give them the tools to maximize their potential and things of that nature. So yes, I kind of want it to be for all kids and not just certain kids.
Hmm.
That's great.
That's really cool. Yeah, that's really cool. You ever and I'm this might just be a dumb follow up. You ever been to a hockey game?
I haven't actually. I would
I
go.
I lived in Nashville for a year and can't believe I never went to a Predators game.
Mm.
I never did. Went to a lot of baseball games. We went and saw the Nashville Sound a few times. Nashville Sounds. They're fun.
Nashville Sounds. Are they like the Memphis Redbirds?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're in the same league. They're in the same league. I'm trying to think. The Redbirds are they're with the St. Louis Cardinals, right? And I think
Yes,
the
sir.
Sounds are with the Milwaukee Brewers, I think. I think.
Okay. Pretty neat. It's pretty neat.
Mississippi's
Mm.
like one of the only states that doesn't have a professional team in it. And so
It's
let's make
crazy.
it hockey. Let's make hockey the one.
Crazy. That's what I'm saying. Hopefully, hockey is the one. They used to have some team played at the Lander Center. Was it the Memphis River Kings? I don't know if they were professional or
Maybe?
something, but I know they used to play at the Landers.
Okay. I didn't know they used to play there. I didn't know that. Maybe do they still? Maybe?
I don't think they do. I don't think they play there anymore. I'm not sure actually.
Man, I feel dumb with most of the other questions that I was potentially going to ask after hearing like what you want to do because that's really cool. Uh,
I appreciate it though.
what what kind of inspired you to want to do something like that?
So, like I said, being here and traveling other places, I just feel like some other places, not all, but they're like it's more resources, more opportunities, and things of that nature.
Hmm.
Um, and I just feel like here, especially like in my neighborhood where I'm, a lot of people they they stay here. They don't ever really get out. So, and like I said, I don't know if that's because of resources, support system, or them just like not being exposed to things to get them out.
Hmm.
So I was just like, this is like that would be a good opportunity, to give back, because I'm not gonna lie, like I don't want to stay here, but
Hmm.
I do want to have that here that I can come back to, and so yeah, so my goal is to kind of build a good team, to kind of run things, while I'm away.
I think, and this is mostly in a ministry sense, but I think a good motto for a lot of stuff when you're dealing specifically with communities and with anything that is involved with like helping other people. One of the most important things you can do is become unnecessary.
Mm.
And I think that, like, and that could mean building a team, that could mean equipping the people who are there to take it over, that could mean whatever. Like I say, I think it's mostly in a ministry sense, but like, you'd never want to be necessary for like a church or a parachurch organization to continue. And I assume community outreach would be very similar to that. Like if if it stops working the second you're not there, there's a problem. And so that's really cool to want to be able to build it and equip the people to do it.
Yes, sir. That's deep. That's deep. Cause I never knew how to word it, but now, thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome, man. I don't have a specific question, but how? So you were in Brazil, you came back to Kansas for a little bit, right? And then you went to
Well,
coaching
no, I came back. I came back to Mississippi.
Mississippi. Okay.
So yeah, I came back to Mississippi. I started working as a trainer. That's when I started doing like I was doing group classes. I'm in Hernando. It was at another gym called Edge. Yes, I was. So I came back home. I was doing group classes there. I had kind of I had a couple clients that I had built up on my own, but I was I worked for myself then, and then I started coaching at Kahoma Community College. So it's a small community college. It's kind of one of the low end community colleges.
Mm-hmm.
So my experience there was I kept I said I didn't know why I had been blessed with that opportunity
Mm-hmm.
either. To coach at Kahoma. So I said that was something I kept praying about as well. But I said since to kind of sum up my experience there, I would say that that was to prepare me for my next move. Like I said, I was there with Coach Metcalf. He's a DK Metcalf's father. So he taught me a lot about life, about football. And I'll share like a quick story about him.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he always wanted this new truck. I think it was a 2025 Ford. He had just got it. He had just got it the day before this day. So we had to go to Walmart to pick up some stuff for the game. Um, this lady needed a boost off in the parking lot, and Coach Metcalf was like, "Man, I'm about to give her one," and I was like, "Coach, you sure? Like, you just got this truck, and usually, because I was telling him like, typically, people tell me, when you got a brand new truck, or you shouldn't be giving, people a boost off." And Metcalf's words to me were like, he said to me, he was like, "Man, look, man, God may be giving me a test." He was like, "Anything God gives you, He can take away." So he was like, I don't want to act different now, or that I got what I wanted, like I still want to be a servant. So we ended up giving this lady a boost off in his new 2025 truck that he had, that he had for a day, and it was like a couple encounters like that kind of taught me a lot about how I want to be. I said if I was a head coach and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm. That's really cool. Now, so he was the head coach of the team. Okay. Were
Yeah.
you like offensive, defensive, special? What were you?
So I was the running back coach, and then I coached the kick return and punt returners.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Well, cool. Cool. And then, how long did you do that?
Um, I did it for it was about we went into the summer. It was about for 6 months actually. So after the season, so the season didn't go too good. We didn't win a game. And Coach Metcalf ended up resigning. And once he resigned, everybody was like, well, the AD kind of told us to pack up our offices as well.
Mm.
So
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, but I'm happy that we met.
I definitely that's why I said I'm cool about it. Like I said, like I was a little disappointed at first, but like I said, like I believe God has a rhyme and a reason for everything. So,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm definitely happy that we met too.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Um, that's all I really have for questions, and we're at about 7 o'clock. So, before closing off, DJ, do you have any questions? Anything? Comments? Concerns?
No concerns. Great to meet you. And it's really cool to hear your story and hear the ways that you've trusted God in your story and kind of been shaped along that path. So definitely great to meet you. And like, who knows if you and I will ever speak to each other ever again. But I will be watching the headlines for when your vlog blows up for being like the person that brought Martin Luther King Jr. back and bulked him up. No, but I yeah, really seems like you've got really cool things on like down the line, and I'm excited for everything that entails. I think it's gonna be really cool.
Appreciate that. Can I ask one question to both of you all before we go?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, so anyone in history you all can pick, alive or not alive. What's one characteristic that you would take from them and why?
Mm.
Is Jesus off limits?
No, he ain't off of it.
I mean, that's like my knee jerk reaction is like everything.
His Christ likeness.
Yeah, his Christ likeness. um, I think Jesus off the table. I would say David's heart for God. Something that I've always like religion and my relationship with Christ for a lot of my life has been something that's been mostly intellectual. And I like David was described as a man after God's own heart. And in the Psalms, you see so much of his emotion bleeding through into his relationship with God. And I think that that's something that I really would like more of in my life.
I like that.
That's good. I think for me, if I'm leaning away from anything too spiritual, but it is kind of spiritual, I'd say Mr. Rogers and his patience. Just because I just had a kid about a year ago. Had my first kid, and I love him. Everything's great. I've not been impatient with him, but I know that impatience lives within me. And if as this kid gets older, there's any part of me that I'm like accidentally going to hurt him with, it's going to be my impatience. And so I would love to just have Mr. Rogers' patience and like his very gentle way of like teaching and handling big emotions. Just because I think that, yeah, and like I'm working on it currently, but it would be nice to just like have it instilled and then problem solved, because it's hard to work on patience. It's frustrating to work on patience. Much easier to just steal it from Mr. Rogers.
true.
That's a good question. What's yours?
If I could take any characteristic, let me think. It's hard when the question gets thrown back on you. But I would say I would probably take probably from two people. My granddad, he's no longer with us, and Missy Lowe. She was my supervisor in my internship in Kentucky. But I would say I would take their faith. Because those are two people that like I said, being around them, I never seen them worry about anything, and like it could be like the simplest things, like from anything really. Like I remember I was at the mall with my granddad, and he left his phone, and like no worry at all. He could get sick or anything, like no worry at all. Just like when we're encountering like things in life that would typically worry us, like financial struggles or anything of that nature. While I was alive with him, like I never seen him worry about that.
Mm-hmm.
And with being with Miss Missy Lowe, we did. She was a school counselor, and she kind of displayed the same no worry at all mentality. And her motto was, God will handle it. And literally, anytime something came about, God. I mean, like I said, like without being too spiritual, I would just say things just kind of came about in a mysterious way. Like I said, our account that year was kind of short on donations, because so essentially, like, so we kids who didn't have food, we would send them food home for the weekends and things of that nature. So we kind of took care of them. We would give them clothes and shoes. So that year, I guess the FRYSC, the little organization. Well, not little. I don't mean to say it, but the one that they work for. I guess it was kind of short on funds that year, and and she was like, yeah, we're short on funds, but I'm not worried at all because God's gonna handle it. So we're packing the bags that week to send home. We're like, we're kind of getting short on stuff, and we don't really have the funds to kind of replace it. So out of the blue, this Mormon church, I guess they were on a mission or whatever, and they called Miss Missy and was like, hey, we got 2 truckloads of you know snacks and stuff like that for kids. If you have a place to store it, we would give it to you. And they were just like, but like only if you had a place to store it. So the problem became not having enough to now we need enough room to store it in like a second. So I was just like, so yeah, so that was kind of crazy just seeing miracles happen like that. So yeah, so those are two people that I would definitely take their faith.
Mm-hmm. That's
So,
really cool. That's really cool.
sure.
All right. So we're past your time. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been fun to talk to you, hear some more of your story, and just to hang out. Where can people find you?
You can find me at Your Eminence 3 on Instagram, Deante3 on YouTube. I'm going to post more content on there. You can find me at Deante Sipp, DE apostrophe capital ANTA SIPP on Facebook. And hello Peccatum on Snapchat. That's Latin. Yes, I took Latin in high school, and it's supposed to low peccatum. It's supposed to mean to take away sin.
Hmm.
Um, well, I thought that's what it meant, so that's why I made it my Snapchat name. And my Twitter is also Your Eminence.
Okay.
Your Eminence.
Okay. I'll also share those links in the show description. But go ahead. Everybody go check out Deante and follow him as well. Check him out. Help him continue to be competitive, and maybe we can be competitive with each other at some level.
For sure. For sure.
Um, but yeah, thank you so much for joining us again. A couple quick thank yous that we need to give out, and then we'll go ahead and let you can go whenever you need to. But a couple quick thank yous. I want to thank Adam Ward for our intro music and Jared Scrother for our outro music. Thank you guys just for being along the ride with us. Thank you to everybody who has helped us to make this podcast possible. And yeah, just thanks for sticking around. If you're still here and you haven't yet, follow, subscribe, reach out to us. If you want to be in an episode like this, go ahead and send us an email, send us a DM, comment, whatever, and we'll get you on. But most importantly, thank you for just being you. Stay lovely, dear listeners and watchers, I guess.
Thank yourselves.